Think about it. When your child is in a bad mood, what happens to his or her behavior? It gets a lot worse, doesn't it? What do you suppose might happen, or what does happen when your child is in a good mood? Behavior improves. Probably the number one thing that you can do to help your child who's driven by his or her feelings is to notice positive behavior and reward it. Reward positive behavior. It can be something simple like a compliment. What a nice smile. I love your smile. Hey, you did a good job putting that away. Way to go. I spoke to a group of moms and I said, what do you do to encourage positive behavior? One woman said, when my kids are doing something well, we celebrate. We roar like dinosaurs. I'd like to hear that, wouldn't you? Another thing that you could do, another way of rewarding positive behavior, is to set a goal that the first thing you say to your child each day is something positive. Well, how could he hasn't done anything yet? He just woke up. Oh, I had so much fun playing tag with you yesterday. I hope we get to play that again. What do you think? You did a good job going to sleep last night. Oh, what a great hug. Thank you, sweetheart. Another way that you can reward positive behavior is very simple. My art talents are extremely limited. You cannot be more artistically impaired than I. It's been scientifically proven. One time I got a big sheet of green paper. You could do it with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of construction paper. Mine was bigger. I cut a triangle. It was a very crude Christmas tree. We scotch taped it to the boys' bedroom door. This was December. I cut some circles out of colored paper, non-symmetrical circles, given my level of impairment. Those were ornaments to go on the tree. We had a real Christmas tree too, but the paper tree and then the ornaments. We watched for opportunities when the boys were sharing or being obedient, engaging in good behavior, and we'd say, wow, you did a great job. Here you go. You may put an ornament on the helper tree. This is an idea that you could adapt year-round. If it's the summertime, maybe you do something with 4th of July. Maybe you cut out shapes with jagged edges and they're fireworks. And every time your child does a good job with something, you let them tape one to the door and it's a little explosion of good behavior. Maybe 4th of July is coming up and you make a flag, not an American flag. Take a blank sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper, turn it sideways, landscape view, and cut out whatever shapes you want. And every time your child does something good, he or she gets to put a sticker up there. Maybe it's winter time, and you cut out 3 large circles, well, big, medium, and small, for a snowman. And good behavior means you get to put the eyes on the snowman, and then an arm, and then a mouth, and so on. You can adapt that idea to the time of year. Another way to reward positive behavior is to make a record of it in some way. I don't mean like a musical recording. I did this one weekend when my wife was going out of town for 3 days. She was going to Atlanta. I'd have care of not only my 2 boys, but 3 neighbor boys. So I'd be in charge of 5 boys, ages 6 and under, for about 14 hours a day for 3 days. I was determined that my wife, upon coming home, would not find out that the kids were a wreck, the house was a wreck, and I was a wreck, because that would spoil her time away. She'd feel like, oh, that means I can never go away again. So I was determined to have a good time, even if it killed me. I did a little thinking, and I got our Fisher-Price recorder, tape recorder. This is really old technology. There'd be more modern ways to do it, but this is what I did. It's the old built like a tank model where the microphone is wired into the unit so you can't lose it. And I watched my boys, and when they did something positive, I'd turn the tape recorder on and say, Stephen's doing a good job eating breakfast. Turn the tape recorder off. A few minutes later, turn it on. Sam's doing a nice job sharing his toys with his brother. Turn it off. Sometimes I let the kids say what they're doing. Hi, Mom, we just cleaned up our room. Turn it off. As an aside, imagine a wife coming home and she gets to listen to 5 minutes of highlights of her kids being good. Talk about boosting your wife's emotional batteries, but that's another subject. That was a 3-day weekend. I had almost no disciplinary situations. The kids are having so much fun being good, they didn't really think about being bad. You could do variations on that. You wouldn't have to have an old tape recorder like that. Lots of answering machines have a memo button where you can leave yourself a message. You could walk over to the answering machine, hit the button, and say something, and you have a record of it. You could have a pad, you could write it down. You could have a handheld recording device, depending on who you could get to cooperate with you. Maybe a friend, maybe a grandparent, maybe a spouse who knows what's happening. You probably don't want to call your spouse 15 times at work and interrupt them 15 times to say, "We just put the socks away, June, you did a good job." But maybe somebody's got an answering machine where these messages could pile up and then listen to at the end of the day. Make some kind of record of positive behavior. And what you'll be doing is you'll be refilling your child's emotional batteries. It's a funny thing, when you recharge your child emotionally, you recharge yourself too.